Let's talk about Rams and Bucs this weekend. Now, in addition to having the MVP favorite at quarterback, the Rams have had one of the elite defenses in the NFL this season. They've allowed the fewest touchdowns in the league, forced the second most takeaways, and have the best defensive efficiency in the sport. They've done such a good job accumulating those guys and really developing young talent. Dan, what are you seeing from this Rams defense that's going to make it tough on the Bucs offense?
That's the best red zone defense in football. Red zone defense, just from an offensive perspective, it's always about, okay, one, how good is your defensive line? Can we somewhat run the football against you? And then two, how good are your corner plays in one-on-one situations?
Yeah.
That's one of the things that stood out, was how good they were in one-on-one situation pass coverage. And you don't often see defensive lines in the red zone run red zone games, stunts, and TEs. And I think that's the thing that stood out. The second thing is they tackle so well. You do not get cheap yards against this defense down in the red zone. And they're very match specific down there, and that allows that rush. So it's a very difficult defense to figure out, like, schematically, where can I create advantage? You got to handle their front. I think their corners are playing very high level football down one-on-one and with the ball in the air situation. It's a very difficult defense to feel like we'll go get 7 on our drives.
That's what I want to see. I want to see Ibuka in the red zone win, right? Like, that is the next step. No Mike Evans there. It's like, okay, can Ibuka come in here and in those one-on-one situations when they're in the red zone be that kind of outlet? You look at Matt Stafford and what Devontae Adams have done in the red zone, and I feel like we talk about this every week, but that like legend continues to grow because it just comes down to the simple, can you beat him one-on-one and can I place the ball? And so for Ibuka, who's a young player, like, that's how you really know that you're a number one guy, is if you can get down there and one-on-one win.
Great for the Rams.
But off the waiver wire, Quentin Lake being banged up is a problem for the Rams secondary. So that's certainly something to keep an eye on as they play on Sunday night. But this defense is loaded.
Field, when you think about the Bucs defense and what they're going to have to deal with Matthew Stafford, I mean, Todd Bowles is a great guy when it comes to defensive scheme and the things he may do. They're a tenacious defense. Like, how do they deal with this Rams offense?
This is a tough one here because the Bucs don't have a pass rusher that right now threatens you consistently just based off of his own skill set. A lot of what they do is they get pressure through what? Blitzing. Todd Bowles has notoriously been a blitzer throughout his defensive play calling career. You better be careful blitzing Matthew Stafford. What he lacks in mobility outside of the pocket, he makes up for A, in-pocket mobility, and B, off-the-charts pre-snap IQ. I don't know that any quarterback is operating pre-snap better than Matthew Stafford. He's got 20 touchdowns this season and 0 interceptions when blitzed this season. That's ridiculous.
Good luck.
Like, you just got to be really careful going up against Matthew Stafford and trying to pressure him. It may seem like a good idea in principle because if you get home, you're going to find a way to bring him down because he's not going to be able to evade you like Caleb Williams is right now. He's so good, though. He's a surgeon. You just got to be careful. But he's not much worse against zone either. So you want to play man coverage, good luck. You want to play zone, good luck as well.
I remember last year this team struggling offensively so much against pressure and third and obvious situations. One, they don't get in obvious situations anymore, really. They did a little good against Seattle. Pressure-wise, they just have too many answers. Sean and Matthew understanding of sometimes kicking out that perimeter screen. And the problem with the worry is if he throws a perimeter screen to Puka, you're getting 10. Right. It's a minimum.
It could be plus.
And it could be going to the house.
ESPN Analytics gives the Rams a 64% chance to win this game.
Some of these big shots that they're calling early on, he admitted it himself. He missed a couple throws that he makes in his sleep. He has to make sure he hits those against the Colts for the Buccaneers if they want to win that NFC South.
I love it. And then Dominique, season low, 4% of his throws were off target. So, Jeff, Saturday, did Jordan Love silence the doubters with this win on Sunday?
I don't think so. Listen, this is not Jordan Love. This is just reality of where we are in this. They just haven't beat. They beat the Lions in week 1. The next best team they beat is the Steelers, y'all. You listen, Himbo gave me this. Love beat Cincinnati, 32nd defense. Tied Dallas, 31st. Beat the Giants, 29th. Beat the Commanders, 28th. Beat the Cardinals, 25th. Like, you got to play who's on the schedule. But he's not tearing it up, playing some of the bottom defenses in our game. And here's the bottom line. You pay Jordan Love to be the dude. To be the dude, right? Now, you can't control the drops, but the inconsistency that we see play, that part for him has to be, everybody's got to be able to count. That guy is not going to be the problem. And that's my issue with it.
And Jordan Love is in this category that we reward these quarterbacks when they get to a certain point, but the reward that we give them is we're going to grade you on a different scale.
Amen.
Jordan Love can't prove anything to us against the Giants in the middle of the season.
No.
It's already been proven. We already know that you're capable of this. What Jordan Love has to do is like that next level, those bigger games. So he's not going to silence any doubters until he does it against the Eagles or he does it in the playoffs against one of these bigger teams.
Right.
Unless you're a really deep in the weeds football fan or a Packers message where, like, you don't recognize some of these names he's throwing to, the Savion Williams and the Bo Meltons. These are not your household names, not what he was dealt with. So I'll give him a lot of credit for, yes, the drops happened, but also rising above all the injuries on that offense and playing really well on Sunday.
There's no question about that. Look, I understand that level of competition matters, okay, and context matters. That's what we're talking about.
Right.
But some of Jordan Love's decisions on Sunday were spectacular. Some of the ball placement was spectacular. I don't care if you're throwing against me or if you're throwing against Deion Sanders. The ball placement wasn't. That's what drives people nuts. But look, there's a reason why Brian Gutekunst rewarded him already, because he saw it. And now it's up to him and the coaching staff to make sure it becomes something that's a little bit more leveled out. Because it's there.
I think what Nick said also is an important point to leave it on for the Packers, and we'll get to the Lions, is and it's not his fault. When you trade for Micah Parsons at the beginning of the season, you're saying we have a championship team. We're not asking Jordan Love to be good. We're not asking him to throw for a lot of yards against the Giants. We're saying lead us to a title.
That's right.
I think that's where the bar is set. All right, the last one is the Lions. And they certainly stayed true to their identity Sunday in Philadelphia. They went for it on 4th down 5 times. They converted none of them. Yes, it was a blustery, windy night, but the average field position for each of those 4th down attempts was the Eagles' 38-yard line. 3 of those attempts came within 10 yards of midfield. And Dominique, I'm going to ask you this question leadingly because I know you have a fascinating look at this. Do you believe Dan Campbell should continue defensive plays?
I don't think he should. And I think it's less about the plays that he's calling and more about the game management. I think that they've always been a team that managed the game well, but in this game, they made mistakes right before halftime. They didn't take advantage of the opportunity, call their timeouts to be able to take a chance to score. They went for it. All those 4th downs was fine, but then there's a 4th and 10 where you absolutely have to go for it, and they punt it. Then there's a 4th and 17 where they're going to go for it, and they should be kicking a field goal. And the only reason I kick a field goal is because the Eagles call a timeout. These are mistakes that Dan Campbell doesn't normally make. And also, like, the physical nature of this team. I know you're going up against a really tough defense and a good defensive line, but it felt like through the course of that game, they felt less and less like the Lions.
Amen.
I think Dan Campbell,
there you go.
Either he needs to stop calling the plays or have someone else in charge like these game management situations, because those are too many big mistakes for it to be coincidence.
I think that's fascinating. And the physical piece of it you jumped on.
Yeah. I mean, the physicality, you saw it kind of wane, right? Like I think Gibbs got like 12 carries. Montgomery only got 6. Like, there's something about when you go play the Lions where your expectation is we're going to hit you in the mouth between the tackles. We're going to play physical with you. And it doesn't matter what the defense is. I don't care if it's the Eagles. I don't care who it is. It opens up play action, opens up the middle of the field. It allows all those things to happen because linebackers play differently. That wasn't there for me. I thought, to me, that was the most glaring thing.
Well, that
I also just whisper one thing and duck. Jared Goff outside in the wind.
Gonna say,
right?
He had a bad day.
That's all the more reason to do what Jeff is saying.
Well, I think it's fair to say
nerd glasses. Take them nerd glasses off, Dan.
It's fair to say that we celebrate Jared Goff because look what they did against the Commanders in that